Hey, what is this?
Xenia's word on the street.
Hey guys, it's Josh and with Xenia's Word on the Street. Several of you who I share online about the technical side of podcasting on forums and social media pages. We talk about equipment a lot, and some of us agree to kind of record videos to show the equipment that we do use. So that's what this is today. Sorry for the echo in the room. I'm using the Blue Yeti microphone here, USB into the computer. And so you're hearing everything. This room is not the great for recording. It is my work office. It's about 12 by 15 space. It's quiet, and it gets the job done. And there's nothing I can't edit out in post production there. So, all right, let's start the beginning of the thing here. Our microphones. We talked about that I have the Blue Yeti USB microphone. I don't really use this for podcasting at all. It's kind of impulse buy. It's a pretty thing. You know, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for podcasting, but it does get the job done. I have some plans to try this out at some community events and things later to set out and pick up the ambient noise while we're doing podcasts, and we'll see how it works. But every day, you know, my podcast, I'm using the Audio Technica AT R2100 microphones. They're USB out and XLR out. These are outstanding microphones. These are high quality, low budget microphones, about 50 bucks a piece. I have two of these that I use in 100% of my podcasts. I absolutely love these microphones. I do have two other microphones. These are the blue enCORE microphones over here. They're great mics too. They're only XLR out, not USB. They have that very pretty shiny chrome grill on it. I have bought two of these. I think they were in the $100 price range. I will say though that I have two, and one's already dead after about a year's worth of use. So I'm 50-50 on those, whereas the enCOREs, I have two and they're still kicking. These are all feed into my Behringer mixer. You can see it sitting over here. This is the Q1202 USB. What that means is that I have the ability to send all the channels out to a USB to my computer. I will say though that I don't use it. I don't use the USB out. I played with it. It's neat. I just don't use it. I have the mics feeding into the four channels here, and I can use the XLR inputs or the stereo jack inputs. This mixer boards, you know, I think it was absolutely less than $100. Has mic gain, the EQ for mids, highs and lows, some FX and pan ability, and the volume levels here are knobs. They're not sliders. I know that turns some people off, but it was in my budget range. I don't really play with it a lot. I kind of set it and forget it. I do adjust and for my low tone voice, so I do play with the equalizer from time to time. I have some other inputs coming in here through the stereo jacks. The board has four inputs. I have two coming in, one from my iPad and then one extra, which I can bring in from the computer or my phone, or if a guest brings something. Coming in from the iPad, shrink this down. Coming in from the iPad, I use Boss Jock. It's a cart software. There's a free version they use. I think I paid $5.99 or something for this paid version. There's no ads or anything on it. But it allows me to push a button to play intros and exits. I don't like doing a lot of post-production. It's one of the things I kind of hated about my beginning in podcasts was you have a great time playing with the equipment and interviewing people, and then you guys sit there for an hour editing the audio. So I try to get as much as I can right into the feed. Then I go back and edit out my ums, and then do some noise cancellation to get rid of some of the echo in the room and the hiss. Coming out of the mixer, I send everything over to my Zoom Handy Recorder H4n. So you can see that here. It's a digital recorder. I bring everything in from the bottom. You can bring in the stereo jacks or the XLRs in the bottom. It has two microphones on it, but again, those mics are pick up a lot, so I don't really use those. But I record everything out to an SD card on digital recorder because I've been burnt in the past about recording to a PC and having it crash in the middle of an interview, and that's kind of embarrassing and a pain. All right, so that's the technical side of the equipment. When I'm done, I pull the SD card out, I put it in the computer. I use Audacity, or Audacity, however you want to say it, to do the recording, to do the editing. I bring it in, I just check the volumes. I do the noise reduction to get rid of the ambient noise in the room, and maybe edit out some hums or things. When I'm in the middle of doing a recording, if I do screw up or they screw up, I jot the time down on my notebook here, leave a pause so I can see it in the recording, go back and edit it that way. So I will do a little bit of editing, but I'm really good now to the point where I'm doing very little editing as possible in post, and we're just shooting from the hip during the live recording. Once I get it edited, I export it out to an MP3 file. Then I upload it to Libsyn, and I use Libsyn's basic service, not their most expensive, and not for sure not a free service. I've used SoundCloud and others and some of the free services and had issues, but on Libsyn, I upload there. Then I send the feed out from Libsyn to iTunes and Google Play. Then I embed the episode into a post on my website at xeniaword.com. And that's actually, I send all my traffic. So when I start sharing the links on social media, I send all my traffic to listen to it on the website. And then I remind them that they can subscribe and bring it straight to their mobile devices or to iTunes, through iTunes or Google Play. It's pretty easy to get on those services. So there's other videos you can listen to, Cliff Ravenscraft in the podcast Answerman series to learn about some of those technical sides, how to get it in the feeds, what feeds to use, what feeds not to use. He's a wealth of information. I've not actually taken his class, but I've learned a hell of a lot from him and his video content and the things he shares online. So that's it. Once it's up, most of my traffic is coming to my podcast through our Facebook page. We have a few thousand people over there, and they bring it to our website. The podcast just is one thing we do on xeniaword.com. We post stories and news and opinion pieces from our community. Our podcast is all local content, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really trying to switch over to more podcast content and away from writing, because I don't like to write a whole lot. It is, what it is. So that's really my setup. So guys, I have about $1,200 to $1,500 worth of equipment here that my wife was close to divorcing me over. You can start podcasting for $25, $50. You can go all the way up to $20,000. This setup here, like I said, I got about $1,200 or $1,500 into it. Some bad buys, like this Blue Yeti mic, I probably wouldn't buy again. Some great buys, like the mixer and these Audio Technica microphones. Some little things I've added on, these microphones from OnStage stands. This is great. I highly recommend this over the little cheap plastic one, because people can bring it to their level and get on it. I do have coming out of all the mixer and stuff, I come to a Pyle 4-channel headphone amplifier, where I can bring one in, and then it splits off the headphone jacks 4 ways, so each one of my guests can have a pair of headphones, and they have individual volume control to adjust for them. I do just use the Tascam TH02. They call these studio grade microphones. I have no clue, I'm an amateur, but these have been great. They're fairly inexpensive. I think they're $15 or something on Amazon. I have 4 pairs, and they held up great, and I use them every day. All right, guys, that is it. And check out our podcasts and our news and information at xeniaword.com. I'm sure if you guys are local, you'll love it. If you're not, you might get bored. But leave your comments or questions about the equipment, and I'll try to post a link to where I bought all this. And take care, guys.